America has suffered a devastating blow as Xi Jinping goes to visit Russia, Vladimir Putin, for a 3-day conference starting on the 20th to 22nd. It's a devastating blow because we have a symbiotic relationship with them. These are the world economies, and you can see that United States and China are the two biggest, and you have to imagine there's a lot of trade going back and forth between these, but of course we know there is an imbalance where we buy more stuff from China than they do from us, but nonetheless, there's plenty going to China there, especially actually in the farm industry. This could end up hurting the farmers really bad, as if they need hurt more, then they'll be ultra super duper MAGA. Maybe that's part of the whole point of all this. And that big $16 trillion chunk there, now you have to imagine with us buying the products, a lot of that's our money, and then we're just like, hey, you know what? Just go over to Russia. Yeah, take all that money we bought your products and just go to Russia because we hate you now for no reason at all. And the anti-China plan was the pro-Russia plan the whole time. But who done it? Was it only Rupert Murdoch, owner of Fox News, who was from Australia and got kicked out of every country he went to besides America? We were the only one dumb enough to say, just stay here and destroy our country. But I gotta tell you, there's something else to this. It's not just Fox News this time. Although he is still one of the main terrorists, if not the biggest. There's another fake newser from Australia operating in the United States, and this one's even worse. You won't believe this. When I talk about the anti-China fake news, you might hear me use the term ASPI. And what am I talking about when I talk about ASPI? I am talking about the Australian Strategic Policy Institute. And this is an Australian organization, but it's also funded by these companies, the military-industrial complex, 100%. And as a side note, these are also the modern-day American slavery companies, because most people don't realize that when people are in prison, they actually are doing forced prison-free labor. And who are the beneficiaries? What are they making? Well, they're making military vehicles, parts for F-15 jets. They make a lot of parts for Patriot missile systems. And so these companies, they get to not only steal our tax money, they get to benefit from forced prison labor, and they get to trick us into just sabotaging our relationship with our number one trade partner. And I actually had a dream the other day. It's never good when the prophets have a dream like this, that Americans were naked. I called it the Naked Army, because when Xi Jinping goes to Russia, he's getting protection because he thinks we're going to attack him, and I'll show you why in a minute here. China's been thinking we're about to go to war with them, and I got to believe they're right. And so he's going to Russia for protection. What happens when you go to the mafia for protection? Do you think they're like, oh, don't worry about it, it's just free? Or do you think they're like, on the day of my daughter's wedding, I ask of you a favor? I think we all know it's going to be that second way. What's the favor going to be? Is it going to be, hey, don't export anything to America until we say otherwise, or don't buy anything from America? The implications of all this haven't hit us yet, but I suspect shortly after the 22nd, we will start to feel the effect. So let's go over to this ASPI's page. Oh my God. I mean, their whole point, the mission of their life is to be anti-China. Look at that. They have anti-China cartoons. And I talk about the sheeple. Look at this. We are the sheep. They are like tracking our every thought about, our opinion on China. Is it positive? Is it neutral? Are we neutral on the West? Are we positive? Make sure to trend it up. We got to make that anti-China line go up until we destroy our trade relationship between America and China and trick them into going to war so they buy all our slave bombs. And we can steal the American tax money while we're at it. And Vladimir Putin will be so happy with us that he might even make our dear Murdoch the prince of the world. So when we talk about fake news, this ASPI is similar to something even way worse than Fox News. And it has everything to do with why we think that China is some sort of genocidal country when we can't even find one death. We can't even find, give me one example where they fired a missile and killed this many people. Give me one example where they were like just killing unarmed people walking down the street with their police when that happened 1,000 times last year in the United States. And look over there, the UFers. Well, geez, are they doing them? Are they making them manufacture doing slave labor with all these different Patriot missile systems? No, they're not. Have any of them been killed in prison like the American prisons where someone gets shanked every day? No, they haven't. So a year from now, when you're sitting naked and wondering what happened to all the clothes, remember the name. And put in the comments, what percent probability ranking do you give it that we'll be in war with China? And put in the comments, what probability percent chance do you think that we'll be in war with China after learning that all this anti-China rhetoric is nothing more than a gigantic sales campaign to sell these slave labor manufactured components like Patriot missiles, F-15s, on and on.